NSFW, people who have surgically transitioned into another sex. What was the most surprising thing you discovered about your new parts?
I have a friend who transitioned, and who had masculinizing top surgery. He was absolutely thrilled with the fact that he no longer had to bind in order to have the body he wanted, which was apparently an enormous drain on his mood and general appreciation for his body as it was, and amazed at just how much lighter his chest felt now that he was no longer lugging two big old lumps of fat around with him everywhere. Once he'd recovered, he said that even just standing up or walking around, let alone running, was enough to leave him with a smile on his face, because it felt so different. To my knowledge, he was absolutely unconcerned with bottom surgery, but the top surgery made him feel much more like himself. We collectively attached so much importance to breasts that it was, for him, at least, a major cause of distress that made it much more difficult to see himself as he felt he was, or should be. As soon as they were gone, he felt much more like himself. The decision was already pretty easy, but it was made significantly easier by the fact that he had a strong family history of breast cancer, so a double mastectomy may very well have been on the cards for him at some point in the future anyway.
Been on HRT but no surgery. I knew I'd experience clitoral growth from testosterone into a more penis-reminiscent growth. Yet did not know this included foreskin. Trans men pull back the skin and clean well.
I had sex reassignment surgery, vaginoplasty, 3 years ago, and there was a lot I was surprised about. On a positive note, I was surprised about how great it feels. I knew I really wanted surgery, but part of me was afraid I would regret it. As a trans person, you get a lot of people telling you surgery is mutilation and that it will ruin your life. But I have been so much happier with my body ever since. It's really improved my confidence a lot, and it has made sex much better and less upsetting. On a grosser note, queefing. I had never heard about it, and the first time it happened to me I had no idea what it was.
I've posted about this before, but am over 7 years post-op. I was surprised how wet I can get, and what that felt like. Otherwise, it was surprising what it's like to live in a body that is congruent with my mind and not hate every second of my flesh prison. It is really freaking nice to get to just be alive. What's really surprising having sex on LSD? I wanted it to be spiritual, or psychologically reconciling. It was so weird. The whole, this person is like inside me, what the beep.
When I took a shower before the water would run down my forehead and fall to the ground from my orbital rims. With a smooth forehead, when I take showers the water goes straight into my eyes. I was warned about this only the day before surgery by someone else and told to enjoy my last shower like that. But on a more serious note, if I were to make a list of things that surprised me about my transition, surgical stuff wouldn't actually be at the top. Surgical stuff is all about dealing with dysphoria, and by the time you have surgery, there are many you can have, it isn't just one, you are pretty well informed about what is going to happen. My entire body is changed. Widening the scope beyond the confines of surgical, a few fun things that actually did surprise me: with hips, nightgowns slipped off my shoulders now land at my waist rather than the floor, my orgasms are just better, and I can have multiple in a row, the way breasts are connected to genitals is electric and very quickly causes me to want to be penetrated. Asking some friends, they laughed at me and told me that is normal. Body hair has pretty much disappeared completely and I am so soft and smooth. I vaguely recall that guys' skin is really rough in comparison, but don't have the guts to ask a guy if I can feel his arms. Just the idea makes me blush. Men have absolutely no idea how much better women can smell. When your partner hints that you need to take a shower, you really need to trust them. I also don't get why we let men buy us perfume when they can't really tell them apart. My favorite bouquet of flowers is any variety of a bunch because I can smell all the different flowers, most of which I never could before. Roses, in contrast, have a really strong scent which I am guessing all men can smell. As my breasts grew, it was funny how my proprioception took a while to catch up. I didn't know just how close I would swivel around doors and walls until I was scraping my growing breasts against them. Then try not to cry. Above all, the thing that I am happy to say wasn't a surprise was just how happy I now am. A background depression that was always there is just gone and life is just better. I documented my transition over the last few years. It is primarily aimed at those who are transitioning, but cis individuals might enjoy it too.
I've been a guy since birth and wouldn't have it any other way. These comments actually helped me figure out how far the technology for transitions to the opposite sex have come. Very cool, and some of the comments are kinda wholesome. Edit, WTF, why, when, how are there so many upvotes? Edit 2, no, stop, let my comment die. Edit 3, Plaza, stop. Edit 4, brah.
Not me, but my GF. It was a long, and sometimes scary transition with bottom surgery, but she is so happy now. It's like night and day. I've never been bothered by what equipment my partner packs, so I was a little leery about surgery when she said she was going to go through with it. It seemed like a big risk that at the time I felt like may not be worth it. After all, I thought she was beautiful in every inch of her body. But her bottom dysphoria was so bad. And I only now realize just how terrible it was for her post-surgery. She's so happy. So happy. She seems more alive and herself than ever before. I love her dearly and I'm so glad she can live as herself. Surgery isn't necessary for everyone, and that's fine, but for those who have bad dysphoria it is absolutely life-changing. And this is coming from someone on the outside.
With HRT, FTM, your lower department starts to grow. I knew that, but didn't know it would go so fast. So one day I was in the shower, looked down, and actually genuinely startled. Asterisk, what's that between my legs? Asterisk, I got used to it fast though, I rather like it now. With top surgery I clearly remember looking in the bathroom mirror and noticing how different my build looked without the boobage. Somehow my shoulders seemed broader.
Obligatory trans but can't afford surgery yet. That beep costs more than a house, top plus bottom surgery combined. That's not counting the surgeries I have to undergo before getting bottom surgery, like a hysterectomy. I've done research on dicks, asked cis friends about them, and I know for a fact the most surprising thing is going to be something akin to not having to wipe after I piss. Y'all really just shake it, wash your hands and go. It's going to be something to get used to after not doing that my whole life. I won't be able to experience morning wood or awkward boners. The technology isn't that advanced. Best we got is basically an inflatable pump that's inside our phallus and balls, so I won't get any surprises like that. Edit, holy beep, this blew up, turning off notifs. Shout out to that one anonymous person who reported this comment as suicide concern. I actually haven't thought about doing that in the 4 years I've known my wife. Please report only actual reasons, not you're trans so you're suicidal. I suspect you're also the bigot that came into my inbox, but Reddit keeps who sent concerns privately. Thanks everyone for the tips and cake day wishes.
They say money can't buy a penis, but my transition surgery disagrees.
I am trans and got a vaginectomy, phalloplasty, and scrotoplasty, removal and closure of vagina, addition of penis and balls. This was years into my transition, after other surgeries and tons of research. So I had a really good idea of what to expect. I love my genitals now and have erotic sensation in my penis base to tip. The thing that surprised me most has been how much I love my balls, the erotic sensation throughout them, and the euphoria they bring me. Maybe not as cool as my penis, but a close second. J-Psych, this is a highly invasive question that most trans people won't answer.
I've only had top surgery, but there's still numb parts on my chest on the incisions even a year after. Also, I opted not to get nipple grafts, but I still have like phantom nip sensations.
As someone who is mostly through phalloplasty, waiting on testicular and erectile implants, although you have to have a lot of discussions as there are so many options and configurations in what is done, isn't done. The biggest surprise was the feeling of peeing with my penis for a while, as the urethra was made from arm skin and it's a weird indescribable feeling. It's like feeling water running along skin, and yet not at the same time. Your body eventually learns to adjust and go, oh, this is urethra now, and you stop feeling it in the same way.
A friend is FTM transgender. He communicated not surprise, but relief, after he didn't have to have periods anymore.
3 years post-op MTF here, orgasms are far more intense. Nipples are stupid sensitive as well. Overall I'm pretty chuffed, smile.
This isn't even my final form.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.